welcome to the Orange Brain Cell podcast. I forgot to write the intro this week. I'm Nicole.
I'm Austin.
I'm Aries. This weekend, finally, after years, what it felt like, we had the second round of the WEC and at Imola, and we had a Ferrari home victory, which I can say that felt good. However, one could say it needs a bit of an asterisk placed next to it because, yeah, there was BOP did play a part in it. So while I will enjoy this moment, I will not be, let's say, a hypocrite and be like, oh, the others needed to do better. Ferrari kind of had the cards stacked in their favor.
Yeah, I've seen people saying, well, the other teams just need to get faster. They need to make improvements. Like, first off, there's not really, like, maybe people that say that don't understand the racing regulations within the World Endurance Championship. Yeah. It's not like F1 where they could, oh, we've got a new front wing for this week. Like, they're really limited on what changes they can make to the car. Like, they have a strict limit on major changes that they can make, and most teams are really pretty much right up against that limit.
What do you mean they can't just bring a completely different car to every race?
Right, like, WEC's not a spec series, but it's kind of like almost a spec series. Like, that's the point of balance of performance, that's the point of the homologation stuff, that is the point of all the regulations, is to make it so that there's a stable set of cars competing equally against one another. And I think that is what has the non-Tifosi upset, is that everybody else is kind of equal, right? Like, I mean, this race, with the exception of Ferrari, BOP seemed a lot better than it was at Qatar.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
We had one outlier by a lot. Like,
yeah, and they would have 1-2-3'd had Fuoco not, lost his mind.
Yeah.
And had the, like, safety car procedures fallen slightly differently or been a full course yellow. Like, I will say, the 83, the yellow Ferrari, got hosed by the just running of the race. When things happened was wrong for them every time.
Yeah. They literally
Whereas
had
for the 51, it was perfect.
Luck. Yeah. You can only have one car that, everything works in your favor.
Yeah, and this time it was the 51. They did what they had to do, basically. Like, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was a hollow victory, because, like, they won at home. Home victories are never hollow. Like, they did what they had to do, basically. They did what anyone else would have done if they had been in that position.
In the interest of the sport, it was a hollow victory. For them as a team, for their fans, no, not a hollow victory at all. Super exciting, super, fantastic for them. But in the interest of the sport as a whole, in the interest of balance of performance, which is, like, big thing that WEC is trying to push as, like, complete BOP. Everybody is going to be exactly the same. And then you have Ferrari out there doing this. Okay. Everything, when we did our BOP explanation for Dana, throw all that out the window, because it's what they say, but it's not true.
Yeah, like, this just really felt like extreme favoritism towards Ferrari. In the sense that, like, BOP, for everyone else, like, made everyone, like, even. And then just Ferrari just wasn't included in it at all.
I think that Peugeot thought they were in it. I know that Porsche thought they were in it, because they literally posted that with an hour to go. The 15 thought that they had the chance to win. I mean, Dries did say they had car issues. Shocking! Dries had car issues.
Who would have thought?
Like, Dries literally could have won every race that's happened in GTP hypercar so far. He has just had the worst luck.
If I was him, I'd start being like, am I the problem? Like,
you think Larry's not being like, you stay away from me, I don't want your bad juju.
I was gonna say, if I was Larry, I'd be giving him crap for that, like, so hard.
He did. Well, no, so Larry has said, please keep getting pole in IMSA, because when you get pole, I win.
Yeah.
Because Dries has gotten pole all 3 races, and Larry won all 3 races.
I was gonna say, it doesn't even need to be the same class.
Right.
Yeah.
Yet Larry's car won even when he won in the different class, so... Because PPM doesn't seem to care whether you drove the whole season, just drove Daytona, whatever. If your car wins the championship, they're gonna put Joseph Newgarden in the pictures.
Don't remind me.
No.
I choose to remember that car last year without Joseph Newgarden. What do you mean there were 4 people in the car for Daytona?
Their pre-Daytona, advertisements were just Joseph Newgarden as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like him. Can we not have him in our advertising?
No, what ads? I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, PPM.
Sorry, PPM.
We just don't really like Joseph.
No. Well, we're being honest.
Scotty Mac I'm okay with. Out of the 2 of them, I'll take Scotty Mac.
I like Will out of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Does he do sports cars? No.
No, so that's why.
You know who manages Will Power? Fernando Alonso.
I knew where we were going.
I knew you were going there.
And Fernando is one of my favorite drivers, even if he at one point was a Toyota driver. That's okay.
You will forgive him for that.
Did you see that whole 2018 conversation we had in the group chat?
I was so upset that I wasn't in the group chat when you were having that conversation, because we know how much I talk about 2018.
Because honestly, I wasn't watching 2018 for the Pink Pig. I wasn't watching 2018 for Matt. It was just convenient that all of these future PPM boys also won. I watched 2018 Le Mans for Fernando Alonso because he's been my favorite driver for a really long time. I was a child. I was 13 years old the first year I went to a Formula 1 race, which means that, all of those wonderful drivers of all of those class-winning Porsches were also right around that age. So, they were not, in fact, being Porsche drivers at that point.
No.
I think, Matt was, 7 or 8. I'm doing math.
I could tell you, staring off into the distance, and
Matt
I was
in, baby karting when Fernando Alonso was, not even a rookie in Formula 1. If we go back to when he was a rookie in Formula 1, Matt was, a literal baby. But yes, I've been a Fernando Alonso fan much longer than I've known that Matt Campbell or Kevin Estra or Michael Christensen or any of them. So I guess I'd probably need to name Larry and Julian as well. There's only 5 of them that were... But, any of them. I did not know they existed, but I was a Fernando Alonso fan buying Fernando Alonso merch. So, 2018 Le Mans was not about the 911s. It was about Fernando Alonso. There was just... The 911s were a nice byproduct of. Any of you are listening, sorry.
We got slightly off the beaten path here.
Are we really surprised if you get Nick talking about Fernando Alonso? She's just gonna take the opportunity and she's gonna run with it.
Pretty much.
And that's what happened.
I don't think that they realized that was gonna happen in the group chat either.
No.
Let's eliminate 2018 from existence. Nope, I have reasons.
Eliminating 2018 is not allowed.
It's not allowed.
To be fair, you both have reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of reasons, though.
2018 I only cared about really for one reason. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry, Michael. Sorry, Larry.
Did you even care about Julian?
Well, Julian was in the car, so yes.
No, but did you care about him, or did you only care about when Matt was doing
It was
things?
really because of Matt.
To think who won P2 that year.
Now we're just on a deep dive of 2018.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Your boy
We're suddenly-
LaPierre won
Hey!
P2 that year.
It's not really my boy, but...
Yes,
Was
he
it?
is!
Was it the Alpine LMP2 team?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then that, yes.
He's still... He was absolutely your boy last year.
Oh, he was my boy last year. Yeah.
Which makes him your boy.
I guess, yeah. I also, how
Yes,
did
I do just have the 2018 Le Mans results up on my screen.
Also, how did I forget that it was Alpine?
I don't know how you forgot that it was Alpine. See,
He's
look,
been with
there's the second most important part of it.
No.
There's the most important part right there.
No.
Fernando.
Incorrect.
There you go.
That's the most important part of it.
Okay, something Imola.
Yeah, something
Something.
Imola.
something grumble grumble. Imola is a boring track. No, it isn't. We wouldn't. I feel like we wouldn't have had the results we had if it had been, let's say, a track that was wide enough that you could land a jumbo jet on it, like Qatar is. Like, people love to diss Imola because, oh, it's narrow and I don't know, you don't have miles and miles and miles of runoff and it's got very, very limited passing opportunities. But I feel like, hey, that's something to celebrate and not something to be moaning about.
It's people who don't like strategy racing.
Yeah.
It's the people that should be watching NASCAR Xfinity series. Like, if you just want to see a bunch of cars pass each other, watch Xfinity. Like,
but also, even if you don't want to see that, watch Xfinity.
yes. But, like, the strategy was so complicated in this race that I got confused. And I'm usually pretty good at
Same.
tracking strategy.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. Like, nobody explained to me why the 6 was leading the race. Like,
Yes.
I'm not dissing the commentary, but, like, Makar was leading the race, and I didn't know why. And it wasn't because they were fastest or going to win, it's because they'd had different tire and fuel strategies than everybody else, and then they fell back when they did their tire and fuel stuff that other people had.
Yes. And then also there was just like, nobody could agree on when the rain was coming.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they had the reason they did the tires they did, the 6, was because they thought the rain was coming, and they're like, okay, these tires will last a little bit,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be good. And then the rain didn't show up, so then they needed to put new tires on.
Yeah. Like, the commentary was like, the rain will be in the first 30 minutes. And then it was like, the rain will be at the end of the race. And then it was like, which one is it?
And there was never any rain, except for that we got an announcement of a wet track, but it wasn't raining.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, they, like, couldn't even agree on the broadcast about when the rain was coming. They'd be like, it's happening in the next 10 minutes. Actually, no. It's like, which one?
Yeah, it was, interesting. Very interesting. Difficult to follow. So I see, like, how if you're I don't even know. Like, I can't even think what series you'd be a fan of that would make you not think that was an interesting race. Because it was interesting. Like, I think it made me a little upset because it was really nice to pretend that the 6 was gonna win. Had there been, like, an opportune safety car, like, the reason that they were leading was because of an opportune safety car. they were trying to run this like last ditch strategy, and
Yeah.
then there was a safety car and it worked for them, and then they were just going to need another one or the rain to show up, and they could have out of nowhere won that race.
Oh, yeah.
There was, and what bothered me was commentary team was convinced the 51 was going to run out of tires. Like,
yes.
oh, this car is not going to be able to finish the race. They're going to have to pit and they're, fall back down to 10th or whatever. Like, they're going to have to get that 30-second lead to be able to, and then they didn't. They didn't run out of tires. So, like,
the commentary, though, for this race was just all over the place.
which, like, I don't mind that, like, endurance racing commentary is a little more unhinged, right? Like,
no.
I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna say something so definitively, the 51's tires will not last. And then they, like, easily last. Like, the 51 wasn't even, like, falling off at the end. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, they might get past because they have no tires and they need to make it 7 more minutes.
No,
That's not...
they didn't.
You'd have thought it was gonna be the GT3 finish, the way they were talking about the fact that the tires were going to fall off, where it was going to be like less than half a second between the cars.
I can't really comment on your commentary because I was watching the Brazilian commentary, and it was quite consistent, I might say, so woohoo, go my locals.
Your nationalism is showing.
Shocker.
Wow. We should all drink whenever I praise my people.
Do they ever get Nasser to commentate on WEC?
Yeah.
Not yet, as far as I
They
remember.
should. I bet
Yeah.
he's not allowed to because it's like technically his team because he does Le Mans. But
Makes sense.
that would be so cool to have like him commentating.
Yeah, it's like how Jam sometimes does GT
French commentary.
Yeah, French commentary. Get Nasser on.
But I mean, like, Nasser commentating on a series that he doesn't really drive in, but a car that he drives.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? Like,
they need to take that opportunity.
Be super interesting.
Yeah.
It would be. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna pitch this idea to them. Maybe they can
Yes.
work.
Pitch this idea to them, please.
And then that's how you get into his suitcase.
Yes.
I see your vision.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well,
get him to commentate for Coda from Coda, and he can bring you to Coda, and it can be Chaos
suitcase.
Crew plus Aries.
Yeah.
Chaos Crew plus Aries. We need that. We need that crossover.
You have been invited to Frisbee, so...
Yes.
Indirectly, yeah. What I was gonna say, if it did feel like regarding the strategy, it did feel like what happened were 2 different races, like the first 3 hours or something until the first BMW terrorism moment and the first safety car, and then after that we had the second BMW terrorism moment and the second safety car, and then the rain came along, and then it was all over the place. And at some point, at the end, I was like, how did the 20 get up here? How did the 36 Alpine get up here? Like, the 20 had issues with the rear wing before, so, because, like, they made contact with someone, and I was like...
they needed a rear wing change.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like, an hour and a half, an hour to go, we had that train of prototypes just trying to find a way past each other. I was like, if this was Qatar or even Monza, like, people were saying this race should have been run in Monza. Like, no, it shouldn't. Everybody would have just have like easily overtaken one another on the main straight, and that would have been it. No, this was
train of prototypes, meaning Kevin was holding everybody up.
Yep.
That's what that was.
Yeah, I was about to say. Just say what it was.
That was Kevin in his not quite so fast as the rest of the car's car.
Yeah.
Holding everybody up valiantly.
Yeah.
I try not to make it sound that way, but oopsie. That's what happened.
We knew what you were talking about.
I was just waiting. I was
watched
just
the race.
say it. Like,
but yeah,
we know what you're hinting at backhandedly.
But yes, if this had been at anywhere other than Imola and the other tracks that the WEC races at, we wouldn't have had this much strategic work, probably.
Yeah. But first, we're going to talk about Alpine, okay?
Yes, I
News.
brought Alpine up in the notes.
Yes, because this is very important. In case everyone forgot, I am an Alpine fan.
PPM, did you hear that? He is an Alpine fan. I, however, have given up on my team because my team gave up on me, and now I am a PPM fan.
I will, however, point out I
They
only
gave
have
up on me.
PPM
They
merch.
don't exist anymore, right
Yeah.
there. Chip Ganassi Racing. So,
I was gonna say though, I have PPM merch and no Alpine merch, so take with that what you will.
have we interviewed anyone from Alpine? Does anyone from Alpine listen to the podcast?
Not that we know of, but still an Alpine fan. Okay. And
Give it a couple years.
it's already slowly falling off. They broke up my car.
Yes, we know.
No, I was.
Which-
And
no, I
your
was
sworn
gonna.
enemy is in the car.
Yes, and that is the car that got a podium.
Yes. See, look, I'm wearing my Iron Dames hat in honor of Jules Gounon getting a podium.
If you know, you know.
I played such the long game on
I'm
my
just-
hat, dude.
I'm just gonna leave. just 1 second, guys. Goodbye. For context, I have beef with Jules. It's because of Bathurst, okay? I can't help it. But anyways, yes, he did get a podium. Also, former PPM boy also got a podium. Do we think?
Wait, I have him somewhere. I just dropped a bunch of stuff. There he is!
Yeah,
Bam!
you know how everyone said he would regret changing teams?
Yeah, no, he definitely, I don't think
I
is
don't
right now.
think he's regretting it right now.
No.
Once BOP and everything gets, although he probably wouldn't be regretting changing teams, because I don't think that this weight situation would be as screwed up as it is if he hadn't changed teams.
Yeah.
Like, I
But-
think PPM might have been a little better with this average weight nonsense,
Yeah.
where he's
I'm just
still
saying.
there.
As of right now, I
Yes.
feel like if I was him, I probably wouldn't be regretting going to Alpine, which,
No.
definitely would have thought otherwise before the season started.
Yeah.
But I'd like to point out this is not Alpine's first podium, unlike what the commentators seem to think. Did we forget about Fuji?
I didn't forget about Fuji.
Because I didn't forget about Fuji. That was the podium with my 36 on it before my 36 broke up because somebody decided to retire.
Somebody.
I
Yeah.
have these cards too. So
Sounds like the commentators were having a blast this
lost
Sunday.
Andre. There he is. Bam. Yeah, I didn't forget Fuji. Oh
I
wait,
mean,
where'd my little
Didn't
Alex
forget it for
thing
that
go?
either, but
Bam.
yeah.
Fuji.
Fuji.
That's my Fuji podcast props.
Yes.
CGR poll. 6 won it.
Alpine got a podium, which apparently everyone seems to forget, but me.
Yeah.
I hold on to that podium purely because it's the last time I ever got my car.
Yes. Sorry.
Very unfortunate. It didn't even finish the season. Yeah. And then Jules got thrown into the team, I mean, he was thrown in before, but then it led to where we're at now. I have beef, which makes possibly Alpine not my favorite team anymore. It's complicated, but still happy they got a podium. Yeah, let's be honest, y'all. And PPM's my team.
Let me
What
find
are we
a
denying?
modern one. Stand by. Because that's his 5 card. There we go.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I'm a
judging
PPM
you.
fan.
Matt's judging
Let's
you.
be honest. I can't really deny it anymore, I feel like.
Yeah.
Nick Tandy.
Yes, Nick Tandy, who unanimously won the Battle of the Brits in the poll. Once again, the same way with Kevin, it doesn't mean that he got all the votes. It means that both on Twitter and Instagram, he won.
Yes, which it now shows that our battles we run seem to always either be a Porsche driver or a Porsche and PP that win.
Doesn't our bio, like on all platforms, talk about Porsche? So
Yeah.
It's not exactly shocking that Porsche fans are our listeners.
No, it should be no surprise. But it's just, we've got a consistency here.
The viewers like to see Sebdog. Sebdog, say hi to the podcast. Yes, hi podcast. This is
That's very
Sebdog.
confusing.
He is not named after Seb Bourdais or Seb Wamey or any of those other Sebs. He is in fact Sebastian Vettel, the corgi.
Sebastian Vettel, the corgi, making his podcast debut.
Noted 963 test driver.
Yeah.
Sebastian Vettel.
How fitting.
Tie it all back in.
Full circle.
Full circle.
What a circle it is. Very, very wide circle.
Yes. Oh yes, other Porsche news. Joel Sturm has been signed as a Porsche contract driver now. Which, like, awesome, because he's only 23.
Yes.
And he's like a WEC champion in GT. He's a 2-time Asian Le Mans Series GT champion, so like really freaking solid driver.
Yeah.
Very excited about that signing. They
It's
just
a
need
good
to
one.
sign everybody.
I guess we can stick on with more Porsche. Talk about Nürburgring. Because I feel like for some reason, like, my timeline on, like, multiple social media platforms was just that they broke the manual record. I was like, cool. Why is this taking over literally everything I'm seeing?
Because you probably follow all 27 of their accounts on all forms of social media.
But it was like everything. Like, my TikTok was like about this. Everything. And I was like, what is going on?
They're very proud of it.
They are very proud of it. And you know what? Good for them. They dethroned the Americans. So
I'm just happy that they're expressing a recommitment to the, normal manual transmission and not just going complete PDK on everything. Because, I get it. PDK's faster, PDK's more precise, PDK's better than what a human can do. I like the interactivity of driving a car. Okay, BOP sucks, that's it, that's the segment. That's not useful notes.
We're starting to see like 500 Indy 500 liveries trickle out. McLaren released theirs, and it's not really papaya. It's very white, which I like white cars, so I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people don't like it. To each their own. I, however, do think we probably should have seen this coming. One, when Kyle Larson's livery was leaked, and then two, when Kyle Larson's livery was officially revealed and it had very little papaya on it and was predominantly white. I feel like that should have been our sign of where they were going.
See, I don't know that I agree that Kyle's has anything to do with these other three, because Kyle's is literally just a HendrickCars.com NASCAR Cup paint scheme on an Indy car.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're like closely related. I'm saying kind of like how last year, how the colors were all still kind of consistent.
Last year, they were 4 consistent liveries, though. this year, Kyle's running a NASCAR paint scheme, and then these three guys have consistent liveries. They're just very different from normal liveries that McLaren runs. The cars, like Peter in the podcast group chat said they look naked, and I kind of have to agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
they just, it feels like something's incomplete about.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the most complete overall is the 5. I think the reason I like the 7 is purely because it reminds me a lot of last year's 7, and I missed the fact that they kind of took away a predominantly white car from the lineup this year. So it was nice to have like a predominantly white papaya car again for the 7. And that's why I like it. I can get the whole it feels blank not having a ton of sponsors all over the white space sort of thing, but also at the same time, I hate when cars are just like 30 gazillion sponsors all over the place.
Well, I'm not saying add sponsors. I'm saying like they could have blown up the images to fill the space better.
Yeah.
Like they've got very small font essentially on it to, I guess, and the way they announced it was basically like blank slate. So the intention is to be a more naked car.
Yes.
I just don't agree personally with the stylistic decision.
Yeah, I agree with what was said about the 5 looking out of the 3 that were unveiled today. I feel like the 5 is the more complete one. The others feel like, just looking at them, I feel like something still needs to be added here, but like they said, they won't, so just feels unfinished.
Like the whatever Minardi and when Red Bull ran their white car in Japan, like those looked really good. The white McLaren last year looked really good.
Mhm.
I just feel like there's something missing, and it's almost like a half-hearted attempt to make a white car, right? Like, it's not really a white car. By the way, we made Nolan's car a completely different shade of blue than we've ever used for him.
Also, though, at the same time, they've changed the shade of blue on that car so many times that
Yeah.
at this point it's like, what do you mean you haven't used this shade of blue?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll look really good in person, but they just, to me, in those images that were released today, kind of fall flat. I wonder whether they're gonna have them next week, this week, whenever it is, later this week for the open test.
Yeah.
Because,
We'll
I
see.
mean, that could be big, like, actually seeing what they look like in real life, not renderings, not super artsied up promotion videos. Because I feel like that's a big thing on any.
Yeah. I mean, we saw, like, when we went to St. Pete, a lot of our opinions on certain liveries changed purely from, like, in-person versus rendering. So,
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about how Xfinity is kind of chaos, and if you want to follow chaotic racing, to follow NASCAR Xfinity, and boy, was there chaos in this Xfinity race for you, because our winner on track was not our actual winner, unfortunately. So, Jesse Love Jr. won on track, but afterwards lost his win in tech. Jesse, this is why you rammed the car into the wall afterwards, so that when you go through inspection, this can't happen.
Yeah. I saw, so today it came out that the team's appealing the penalty, but I saw yesterday Dale Jr., whose car ended up inheriting the win, Sammy Smith inherited the win. Dale Jr. was like, I've gotten these overturned back on appeals, so I'm going to celebrate this right now, but kind of who knows where it's going to be at the end of the week. Just the fact that Dale said that, though, it's like, yay, my car won, but I'm not 100% sure it's going to keep the win.
Yes, and also, there was just a lot of talk around the two guys involved in this because of recent happenings on track between Jesse Love Jr. and Sammy Smith. And just the fact that Sammy Smith inherited Jesse's first non-super speedway win became a very big talking point. My favorite thing, though, is Jesse's own response to losing the win, and that's just the fact that he doesn't think he's lost the win. He will be keeping the trophy. He came for a trophy. He's leaving with the trophy, and the trophy is going into the safe in his house if you're looking for it.
I mean, he's not selling his watch to a random guy on the street before he gets disqualified like Seb Bourdais did in the 24 hours in between the finish of Daytona and when Towers DQ came out. There's a lot of, I don't know, just discourse around F1 Academy and whether it's a viable series, whether it's worth it, whatever people's opinions are on it, but we now have actual commentary from a driver who has done mixed gender F4, like formal F4, and F1 Academy, which is billed as an F4 series, that the F1 Academy cars are completely different than a standard F4 car.
Yes.
Oscar Piastri and Ella Lloyd did a video for McLaren, and they were talking about that. And she just straight up came out and said, yeah, this car's harder to drive than a normal F4 car.
Which I feel like there had been assumptions going around that it was different, that it wasn't as good, and now we just kind of have confirmation that that's true. That it's a different car and it's not good to drive, it sounds like. But the fact it was from an F1 team posting it, sharing this.
Got a lot more views than had it just been an F1 Academy driver saying
exactly. It's kind of hard for this to be swept under the rug.
And, I mean, ultimately what it seems like to me is they want the F1 Academy cars to look like little F1 cars, rather than being aerodynamically different cars, which F4 cars are.
Yes.
And that's ruining the ability to drive.
Yeah, and I would feel like it's setting you up even worse.
Yeah.
Right,
because if you've never done International F4, if you've never done any of the, especially Italian F4, the most competitive one of them, but any of those F4 series, and all you've done was go straight into F1 Academy, and you're like, oh, okay, I did pretty good. I got podiums, I maybe won a race, I'm gonna go do Italian F4. And it's a completely different car. That's not so good for the series. Maybe that's why everyone's struggling so much in Freca.
Yeah. I think it's almost now kind of making sense why the ladder system they created is what it is, and why, like you mentioned, people are struggling once they leave F1 Academy.
There's no reason anybody should be making a lateral F4 move out of F1 Academy. You have failed as a feeder series if you're making a lateral move. It should always be moving up to, at the very minimum, Freca. I think that, what was done with, the GB3 scholarship is good, because that is a step, according to what everyone says, it's in between Freca and FIA F3. So everybody argues about what all the actual steps on the ladder are.
It's hard to have actual steps to the ladder just because they're
different series.
They're different series. It's hard to draw comparisons across all of them.
But it's clearly a step up from F4.
Yes.
And pretty clearly a step up from Freca. So it's nice to see that sort of movement. It's really disheartening to see a move to an F4 series out of F1 Academy.
Yeah, and I think it's also, though, just making it make a lot more sense why people are struggling. Like, if your only experience, like you mentioned, is in this F1 Academy car, and then you're trying to jump to these other series without having experience in an F4 car, it now really is starting to, like, make all the connections make sense of why so many people are struggling.
Yeah. And I'd say that's not the only reason that Ella made the news this weekend.
Nope.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I loved that video. I mean, we tweeted it out from the podcast account
Yeah.
because it's an interesting conversation that I think, for whatever reason, a lot of drivers from Great Britain don't want to have. I guess if you're unfamiliar, Ella is a Welsh driver, and you're not allowed to race as a Welsh driver or a Scottish driver in the FIA series. So if you're from one of those countries, you can only race under the Union Jack. She was not happy about that.
Which I think
Not
it
at
is also very important to know, especially for Ella. Like, she is very outspoken about how proud she is to be from Wales, to be Welsh. Like, a lot of her videos she does for McLaren are her speaking in, like, her native language and educating people about Welsh culture and things like that. So it's very important to know that key part to understand why she was so upset by this. No, like, if you look at her helmet, it's the Wales flag. It's not a Union Jack. So I think it's pretty obvious where she stands.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think it's sort of a unique situation because I don't think there's anywhere else where you have the sort of countries within a country. It's yeah, it's frustrating. I think the word I would describe, because you go out there and are openly proud about, I don't know, your heritage, about your what do you identify as, and then, well, yeah, that's being denied from you. Great. Then you just sit there looking dejected.
The FIA also only enforces that for their series. There are other series you can race in where you can race as Welsh or Scottish.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally just an FIA thing. So it's just insane. Like, I get their reasoning being like the structuring and everything, but there's no reason that these drivers can't have their national anthem.
Agreed.
Let them declare what they want to be. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a Welsh
This-
person but you really identify as British, you can race with the Union Jack.
Yeah.
If you really identify as Welsh, let them race as Welsh. Like, what does it matter?
Like, this almost to me is like how there's drivers who have like multiple flags that they can race under, so you just pick one.
Right.
Like, I feel like
Yeah.
this should be the same sentiment. Like,
Because Welsh
Pretty
racing
much.
licenses exist.
yes, like, if you can get a license for it, then you should be able to race under.
While we're talking about this, I remember very, very clearly when this is gonna take me back. This is gonna take us all back. Like when David Coulthard was still racing in F1, I still remember there was a Scottish flag next to his name when he was with Red Bull. But I remember when I was a kid, I thought they could actually do that, like officially race under the Scottish flag. But turns out later I found out they could.
I think DC's probably one of the most outspoken about being Scottish
Yes.
people. They did not play the Scottish anthem when DC won races.
No.
They played God Save the Queen. The same way that Ella had to stand there for God Save the King. Like, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine, like, you've won a race and you get to the podium and you don't even get to hear your own national anthem, like, played for you. Like, that's insane.
And it's not because of a technical screw up.
No.
Where somebody decides to, randomly. What did they do in Asian Le Mans? They made everyone German or something?
They made everyone German.
Like, it's not even like one of those, because you can understand one of those, like, oh, oops, there was a screw up. But, like, that's a political statement to them by saying you have to stand here and listen to God Save the King, that is making a political statement against them as a Welsh person.
Yeah.
I
And I feel like that's a lot of the commentary I've seen on Twitter, from Welsh motorsports fans about this situation. That's what they've been echoing.
And then
That
I guess we
makes
should
sense.
talk about the actual F1 race.
Probably.
I guess there's only one thing to talk about with the actual F1 race, and it's the beginning of the first lap, and the fact that the FIA has no idea what their own rule about overtaking off track or pushing a driver off track is. Because I thought they made it really clear at the end of last year, after COTA, what the rule was. And now it doesn't seem like they have made it clear, because I don't know. I don't know what the rule is.
I don't think anyone knows what the rule is, to be
It's a
quite
mess.
honest. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of goaltender interference in hockey, and how there's no
Yes.
consistency with when we decide when goaltender interference is goaltender interference, which as a goalie myself annoyed me. This reminds me of that.
I almost think that, and I haven't listened to all the radio traffic, and obviously we don't know what conversations happened internally at Red Bull. This feels like one of those Red Bull big brain moves to make the FIA nail down a rule, because had it been last year, Max on the inside where Oscar was, which it was Max on the inside where Oscar was many times last year, and who was the one that ended up getting it wasn't a penalty until the end of the year. He got a penalty in Mexico for doing it. But he got reprimanded at COTA for doing it. And it was the same move. You can argue, oh no, someone was a millimeter ahead. It's still ultimately the same move. Two cars come into a corner side by side. The inside car takes all the way to the curbing, and the outside car has to go into the runoff. When Max did that, it was wrong. When it's done against Max, Max is still wrong. You know?
Yeah, I think it's because people are just looking at the view of who's ahead at the apex and
the thing
everything.
is, who's ahead at the apex doesn't necessarily matter because of different braking points.
No, but I'm saying
not every car takes the corner exactly to what the FIA defines as the apex, the little cone on the apex.
But I feel like for a lot of fans on social media, especially, they just see the thrown out FIA definition of why the reason they're getting a penalty is being ahead at the apex and everything like that, and that's all they take away from it, and that's all they apply to it.
I saw, and I don't know, I saw it on Twitter, so the telemetry may not be real, but I saw what is claiming to be the telemetry from that turn. And the reason that, according to my viewing of the telemetry, that Max probably wasn't ahead of the apex is he was on the brakes earlier than Oscar. So obviously, if your way to take that turn is to apply your brakes sooner and maybe, accelerate at a different point, different drivers have different styles. You cannot use, what you probably need to do is who was ahead at the previous turn or entering the corner.
Yeah.
The attacking driver, whatever you're going to deem that.
I feel like this is one of those where it's hard to definitively be like, this is how to define it. It's just a slippery slope.
Maybe it's just one of those where if it's not terribly awful, yes, if they go off and cut an entire part of a chicane and end up 5 car lengths ahead of the next car, but ultimately, Max and Oscar were gonna be fighting no matter what. And I think that they probably took some excitement out of the race by implementing that penalty. It went from, maybe Max could win this race to, he's got a 5-second penalty, Oscar's gonna run away with it. Which, you knew on lap 1 by the end of lap 1, you knew Oscar was going to run away with that race. It took
Yeah.
really any of the excitement of who could win out of it.
Yes. Well, what's your opinion of a certain someone who you're not really a fan of? His opinion that it should be like supercars and DTM.
I mean, I think that if you had I guess I should probably clarify what we're talking about, because I don't think you actually said who we're talking about.
No, I didn't. I was gonna let you do that.
Oh, okay. But Maro Engel said on Twitter, who, if you don't know who he is, he's a DTM driver, a GT driver, holds the overall fastest time in a production car at the Nürburgring in the AMG 1. Fun Maro Engel fact for you. I like how I don't like the guy, but I have fun facts about him.
I was gonna say, I like how he is apparently like your enemy, equivalent to like Jules being mine, I guess. And you just know
fun facts about
no
him.
like
I
fun
think
facts
he has
about
like
him.
3 of the top 5 times there. If you look at Nürburgring production times, like on the Nordschleife,
Yeah.
Well, you know what you know what the saying goes. It's like keep your allies close, but keep your enemies close.
So I know Maro Engel fun facts because I don't like him.
So
I don't know why I don't like him, actually. Like, you have, like, a reason to not like Jules. I just don't like Maro Engel.
I told you your reason. It's because you're not a fan of Mercedes.
Yes, that might actually be why. But he basically said that as soon as there's wheel-to-wheel racing, both cars should be obligated to give room. And I don't know that F1 drivers have the finesse to do that, quite frankly. Like, I think that sports car drivers have a lot more finesse with their driving in wheel-to-wheel racing than current Formula One drivers do, because the way that current Formula One has been developed with all the aero stuff, ground effects, all these different, iterations of Formula One, you cannot have 2 cars going side by side for multiple turns, whereas in sports car racing, you can. So those skills that sports car racers have developed through years of moving up through Sports Car Junior Series, F1 drivers are not developing, because even if you look at the F1 feeder series, they are not going wheel to wheel through multiple corners.
Yeah.
So I don't know that F1 drivers have the finesse to do what Maro Engel is saying they should do, is my conclusion. Sorry, Maro Engel, you may be a better driver than all the Formula One drivers, and they cannot take your advice. That's the nicest thing I'm ever going to say about him, other than he has good hair.
He does have good hair.
He does have really good hair.
Yeah. We
I
do have to give him that.
Yeah. Hey, DTM starts this weekend, so we can probably see his good hair. But
yes.
What we actually need to say is, in fact, go Manthey.
Yes.
Stand by.
I was about to say, she does have props. She just needs to go get them.
Hey.
Yeah. There we go.
Yes.
It's Olaf Manthey's birthday.
Yes, it is, actually. That's what we should call it. Like we did the Matt Campbell birthday episode, we should do the Olaf Manthey birthday episode.
Yes,
I mean, he won yesterday.
Can we do that?
It's the opposite. Yeah, it's the opposite. So for Matt's episode, we only talked about him for the first 5 seconds, and in this one, it's the last 5 seconds.
Yes, indeed.
Something.
They did win yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got an Iron Dames hat on. They are, in fact, a Manthey team this year. I like how I'm using my Iron Dames hat as, like, multiple props. It's like, Jules got a podium, so I've got my Iron Dames hat on because his girlfriend is an Iron Dames driver.
Yes, and you just keep sending me all of their stories together to annoy me.
They're adorable.
Yes, but I'm just saying, you literally told me you're going to keep sending them to me.
Did you not like the one where he pretended he was shooting himself in the face on the bench press?
What in the world?
Look at Michelle Gadding's Instagram stories.
There was a lot going on.
Everyone needs to follow Michelle Gadding on Instagram, because the stuff she posts of Jules being ridiculous is hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like the only way to maybe make me not have Jules as my enemy, it's gonna be hard, is her social media.
Yes, that's why I'm sending it all to you.
I'll just send you Maro's stuff, I guess.
I'll look at his nice hair.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not gonna work.
I have to get you
Going-
back in some way.
Yes, in fact, DTM this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, go
Yay.
Thomas and Morris and Chan.
Yeah.
Those
I
would
was
be the
gonna say-
Manthey guys.
I was gonna say we're talking about Maro Engel, but then like the tweet he was talking about it, someone quote tweeted it with a clip from a DTM race at the Nürburgring. He was going wheel to wheel with Sheldon van der Linde in the BMW, and he pushed Sheldon off.
That's great.
It's amazing.
I think it's still up. So yeah,
No, I'll have
it was
to.
hilarious.
We'll retweet that from the account with no commentary.
Oh, that's a good
fantastic.
one. I like that.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Brain Pod. On Twitter, because that's where we mostly are, Nicole is at Cars on the Street, Austin is at Hendrik Claren, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Stay orange.